All right, a win is a win is a win. You know, there's pretty wins and there's ugly wins, and that's probably somewhere in between. You know, there was a lot of good things out there, and there was a lot of things that as a head coach you want to pull your hair out. But, you know, when you look at, you know, just looking at the first half overall, you know, our offense scores three out of the first four series. We put points on the board. The first series we don't. We have, you know, a young guy, you know, stumble a couple times and fall down. But I really thought we started as fast as we wanted to start. Obviously, didn't finish like we wanted to. You know, it's not very often you win a football game being -3 in the turnover range, you know, in the turnover category there. And I think that's huge that we're able to still pull a win off with not taking care of the football. You know, we didn't get any on defense. You know, we had a chance even at the end to end the game with a pick, and we bobble it a little bit, and it hits the ground, gets trapped. You know, a couple big plays in the game. That fourth one stop, you know, late in the game was a huge defense stop. And you talk about adversity, and you know, there's adversity throughout the whole game. First quarter, second quarter. I mean, it goes on throughout a football game. And I really thought our guys fought back when they needed to. You know, that fourth one's a big play. You know, late in the game, you know, being in our nickel defense and stopping them on a fourth down. I believe we had 2 fourth down stops in the fourth quarter there, just, you know, coming off the field and getting the ball back to our offense. So we did what we had to do to win, and that's the important thing. We will make major improvements, I think, just some little things. You know, and again, I say it always starts with me as far as a coach, just cleaning up some things that we did out there and being on top of some things a little bit more. But, you know, from the top down, we got a little bit ways to go, and we had a week to prepare for Akron Zip. So with that, anybody got some questions? I know you do.
Any word on James?
James is fine, you know, just being cautious. You know, I felt like we had a stable backs, and you look at Quadri, the way he came in. You know, Chris James got banged up a little bit, you know, and that's the tailback position, but it's a good thing we got a deep stable, and Darren Hall, I think, got a few snaps. We got a lot of guys reps today, from the O-line to the secondary. A lot of guys got snaps, and that's important in the first game that everybody got a taste. But James will be fine.
Is it the plan to play Nate for a couple series, and if Chad continues to struggle like he did today, will Nate be in the mix to play more?
We're gonna, you know, we'll evaluate the process. I think, you know, Chad did a decent job. We'll look at the tape and go, but it was definitely in the plans to put Nate in early and let him, you know, not when it was a critical situation, but to get him in the first half, first quarter. That was the plan. Coach Cheney stuck with it as far as, you know, being able to do that, and you know, we'll continue to evaluate.
See from Chad that, you know, maybe was giving him problems out there today?
You know what? I mean, it's first game. I mean, it's first game. You know, scrimmages are different than games, and you find out how they line up in Heinz Field. And you know, I've told you guys before, you know, when the lights go on, and the crowd's there and the band's playing, how are we gonna react? So first time, and again, we came out with a W, so I'm happy with that.
You played without Boyd for obviously the whole game, but
You think?
Yeah. And without Connor for a considerable portion. How do you think that will sort of benefit the team moving forward?
It'll benefit. I mean, you know, that's what I'm talking about. A lot of guys got reps today, so you know, it's next man in, and whether it was, you know, Terrace Webb ended up playing really the whole second half at the you know, free safeties position, and we got 2 safeties. You know, one played the first half, one played the second half. So, you know, it helps your depth, and you know, the same thing on the offensive line. So, you know, when you got probably, you know, your 2 best players are sitting on the sideline. You know, I think that's a tribute to the football team that still came out and got a W.
Was that mental breakdowns in the second half on defense?
You know what? It's a mental breakdown. I mean, it's a nice job. You know, give Bo Pelini and their staff credit. I mean, they're a good football team. You know, they'll win a lot of games this year, and they're well coached. But you know, in that second half, they run a sprint draw, and you know, you got to make a play. I mean, I think our guys were in position. I think we had to run up the field. I think Caprera tried to come back, wasn't there fast enough, and you know, we'll look at the tape. And then the second one was you know, we're in man free, and T. Webb jumped outside of number 2 receiver a little bit too wide, and the guy just ran straight up the middle. And Joante Pitts couldn't get there, okay? You know, they made a play. They had maybe the right call and against our defense, and we didn't.
Obviously, you haven't been able to watch any tape yet, but defense, what jumped out to you is some of those things that might need to be cleaned up?
You know, I like how they finished at the end, okay? And I tell you what now, go look, and you know, I didn't look at the field position, but they had their backs against the wall a lot, okay? We had probably 4 or 5 what we call sudden changes when the ball's right at the 50 and they got 50 yards to go. But you look in the first half, I think we were 3-0, means 3 wins, no losses in sudden change situations. And, you know, that means they got the ball and they got a short field, 40 yards to go, and we give them a field goal. That is a major victory defensively. That's all we're asking for. You're not supposed to, you know, I mean, they're in field goal range almost to begin with. So I thought the defense in the first half, you know, did a great job. In the second half, we didn't make some plays. But that's part of the ball game.
Reggie Mitchell hurt. You mentioned Parrish playing the second half with Reggie hurt.
Yeah, he got banged up. I think he'll be fine again. It was just one of those, hey, next man in, and it was good to get T-Webb. T-Webb's been, drooling to get in there, and I say, hey, this is your chance. So it was good for him to get in. I think Reggie will be back too. Just a, little ding.
How big was Scott Orndorff's play on that pass? That it seemed like kind of miscommunication. What happened there, do you think?
You know what? I'll have to watch the tape, but I didn't know who that was thrown to. Was it to Scott or that other guy out there? But he made a heck of a play, and we made some big plays on offense. You talk about explosive gains. You look at the positive thing. It's a negative for the defense because it was Gatorade to go. I mean, it's one play and defense was back on the field. They might have had a 12-play drive. Offense comes out, scores in one play, takes 13 seconds off the clock, and the defense is back out there. I think that paid tribute. It was a hot day out there today, and maybe we didn't rotate our guys as much as we did, and maybe that had something to do with it. But we'll look at it and see exactly what happened there.
Is Chris James' injuries minor, major?
Minor.
There's some nervous moments like kickoff.
Say that again? The kickoff when we had our hands team out there? Yeah, there's some nervous moments. You don't want to give them an easy one up there. And, that's what they did exactly how we practiced. You're doomed if you do and doomed if you don't. We wanted to have enough guys up there that if they, ran the onside, we'd be good. And then we practiced those guys sprinting back there, okay, to get on the ball. We trusted our offense in that situation. And, they knew it was a free ball. And Avante did a great job getting back on the ball. But, you'd be whining about it on the other end if they get the onside kick there, and you think you should have had more guys up there. So it kind of goes both ways. So they did a heck of a job. We got the ball, and defense bowed up after, I think, a 3-and-out by the offense.
Did Olsen earn more playing time?
I would say so. I mean, Olsen did a great job when he was out there, so we'll look at the tape, no doubt about it. I mean, we knew he was a guy that could make plays. He did it in camp, too.
Going through today as a head coach for the first time, I mean, what was the experience like? Was it what you expected, anything different than what you expected?
Probably what I expected, First time doing it. I can tell you it gets a lot harder on the field for 4 quarters than it does sitting up in the press box drinking Diet Pepsi. But, that's about the only difference there was. Is it was a little hotter down there. But the trainers did a good job to keep me hydrated so I don't dehydrate.
Would you say, like with James Conner and Mitchell, some of the injuries they had, if it weren't 90 degrees and a non-ACC opponent, they probably would have stayed in the game and kept playing?
No question about it. No question about it.
Coach, coming from the atmosphere that you coached in at your previous stop, you look around, your defense needs stops late in the game, and the stadium is almost empty at that point. Is that disappointing, surprising, what?
I didn't even notice it, to be honest with you. Players play the game on the field, and we hope they stay 4 quarters. And, if they don't, they don't, but we're going to still play the game. But I don't look up there. It doesn't matter.
Final for Coach?
Was there a level of personal satisfaction beating this team with your personal history with Youngstown?
No question about it. No question about it. It wasn't as pretty as I wanted it to be, but W is a W. Anything else? Last one? No? All right, guys. Thanks. Have a great weekend.